Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from Worldcast Anglers with your Jackson Hole fly fishing forecast for the weekend of the 10th and 11th of June. We're creeping out of spring. We're creeping into summer. Spring is all around us. I'm down here on the South Fork of the Snake in the canyon section, helping out getting the South Fork Hilton and our Cottonwood camp all ready for all of our guests this summer season. It's very lush. It's very green. The river is high. The clarity is getting better. The birds are singing. It's a great time to be here, and we couldn't be more excited to get back on the South Fork of the Snake after, things got a little high and a little dirty there for a little bit. Going into this weekend, Saturday, we've got 68 and 46, partly cloudy. Sunday, 70 and 46 with some afternoon thunderstorms. It seems like we're still in this 10-day forecast of afternoon thunderstorms. As you can see behind me, it's a little cloudy. It's been drizzling on and off. We'll get some rain showers. We'll get some thunder. Pretty normal spring weather. We'll take all the moisture that we can get at this point. Jackson Lake right now is 71% of capacity. Palisades Reservoir is 91% of capacity. So our reservoirs are starting to get full. We've actually started to see some of our inflow peak and drop down with some warmer weather last week. And we're going to see probably our second peak, which won't be as highest as our first peak as things sort of start settling out from the runoff period. The old timers in Jackson and the old timers in Teton Valley, they always say when Glory Bowl in Jackson or Fred's Mountain in Teton Valley are burned off, the Snake and the Teton will start to fish. They're pretty darn close now. And if I had, a time frame to say, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 weeks, depending on the precip that we get and the daytime temperatures. But we're getting really close to a lot of those other fisheries starting to open up, drop and clear, and get into really good early summer fishing shape. The South Fork behind me, it's sort of sitting at 14,000 CFS. It's been there for the past couple weeks. As I was saying, the water clarity has been increasing. The water temperature is still really cold, but the water down here is definitely more of a green color. It's less of that brown color. There's less crap and junk floating around. We actually saw a lot more boats down here of people fishing. Our reports coming back, the upper and the canyon section, and even the lower river has been fishing well at this time. It's still mostly nymphing and streamer fishing. I haven't seen a fish rise today while being on the water, which is subsequent and just proof in the pudding that our water temperatures coming out of Palisades Dam are really cold. I'd be ready with rubber legs. I'd be ready with San Juan worms. I'd be ready with big hothead pheasant tails, big hothead beadhead tungsten nymphs, zebra midges, any of those types of things that are going to be heavy. They're going to get down into the strike zone. They're going to stay in the strike zone, and you can sort of milk your little spots. Fishing from the boat, like hitting banks and stuff like that, hasn't really been that productive. Naturally, the water's cold. Fish are going to be congregated in a few spots, and they're not going to be pushed over to the banks to eat food. So think of it that way, where it's a little bit more of a stick and move game than just sort of rolling down banks and fishing those things. The Henry's Fork, we've got 781 CFS coming out of the Box Canyon, 2,000 CFS on the lower river. We've got salmon flies everywhere from, coming up into the Box Canyon, down around Chester and Fun Farm. So they've spread out, and they're sort of petering out on the upper river of the area. These afternoon thunderstorms and this cooler cloudy weather has not necessarily dulled the salmon fly fishing, but we like hot, dry weather for those bugs. And when it's wet and it's cold, they sort of just shudder and, not really, get out and do their thing. The dry fly fishing has been good. It hasn't been anything spectacular. I would be really ready, and if you had to save your days for R&R, your vacation days that you've built up, I'd start looking at the golden stones, the green drakes, and some of that stuff that's going to be happening here in these next couple weeks. Dry dropper fishing has been the rig of choice on the Henry's Fork with salmon flies, rubber legs, small pheasant tails, any of those types of things have been good. Nymphing on that tailwater area below Ashton has still been pretty productive, as well as streamers. But like I said, I'd be ready for those green drakes and those golden stones, and that's where I would use, sort of my time based off the salmon fly fishing that we've been seeing. The upper river is still seeing some BMD BWOs and some caddis as well. The snake in Jackson, 293 CFS coming out of Jackson Lake Dam, 12,000 CFS there going into Palisades Reservoir before the salt and the grays. The vast majority of the snake is dirty, it's high, it's off color. It hasn't gotten that big, with Bureau of Rec only releasing, 250 or 300 CFS coming out of Jackson Lake Dam, which is quite bizarre, but that's a different topic. If you are going to try to fish the snake, look at the dam to Pacific. It's a lot of slower water and slack water. I would concentrate on any water that, where current is moving, especially the discharge channels coming out of Jackson Lake Dam. I'd fish a Clouser minnow, a Crelex, small sparse streamers like on an intermediate or a type 3 line. There's some lake trout, there's some random brown trout, there's some cutthroats and stuff under there in that area. The Teton in the Valley, 1,590 CFS near Driggs, 3,390 CFS on the lower river. Similarly, the Teton's blown out, it's high, it's muddy, but we've actually seen things sort of start to drop, and we've seen clarity start to increase, and so it's coming, close to. I would suspect those and the salt and the green and all of those to be really close to be dropping into shape here in the next 1 to 3 weeks. Yellowstone National Park, we've got 801 CFS on the Madison near West Yellowstone, 536 CFS on the Firehole near Madison. The west side of the park is prime for early, summer, late spring fishing opportunities. We've seen some really good hatches of PMDs, caddis, and blue-wing olives, depending on the weather there on the Firehole and the Madison. Some bigger fish have been caught in the Madison. We've started to see a couple salmon flies and golden stones, so that'll open up some opportunities for you as well. Once again, thanks for tuning in. We're glad to be back. The Fly Shop is open Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Stop in, say hello. We couldn't be more excited to see everybody, and we'll see you here next week.